Lee Zeldin versus CNN on what is that? A climate change? Lee Zeldin's actually the EPA administration appointed by Trump. Um, I like her first question there. She said that thank you so much for being here. Do you accept the overwhelming scientific consensus? And and then he took her to the school to the school to school. Let's listen up. What?
Do you accept the overwhelming scientific consensus that
Overwhelming.
these greenhouse gas emissions are the biggest drivers of
Who
man-made
the heck
climate
is this
change?
girl? Who has?
Well, it's great to be on with you. First, it's worth pointing out that all 8 or so images that you just posted on the screen have nothing to do with this week's announcement.
I don't know if you've seen the whole thing. Yeah, those those images have nothing to do with anything. With the this is how the CNN and all the mainstream media wants to control the narrative. Yeah. I mean, even AI, even Grok, even Chat GPT. Because they pull data from so-called consensus. And a couple days ago, I Googled, not Google, but I went to Chat GPT and asked, those New York flood that they had about last week, and I asked us what actually contributed to that. And one of the second part of that was the climate change and how it affected some kind of a, I don't know, some stuff out in the sky, out in the, I'm gonna have to read it. But then again, it makes you think that, are you saying that those climate change is human, errors, and therefore there was those places like in New York has never been flooded before, like 1,000 years ago, or anything like that, you know? Um, yeah, it's because they just want to push all this, propaganda that we need to tax more so they can control ways of manufacturing stuff, whether it be uh, electric cars, getting rid of gasoline, gas, and crude oils and everything like that. So they want to control that. The government wants to control everything on that because it's climate change. It's gloom and doom. So we have to control it. Anyway, so from the get go, Lee Zeldin, you know, just came firing it back. He's just like serving it back to her.
What was the 2009 endangerment finding had to do was with regards to mobile sources vehicles. This week's proposal to rescind the 2009 endangerment finding was with regards to mobile sources vehicles. CNN's been using a lot of photos where they show smokestacks of stationary sources like power plants. That's not what we proposed. Now, going back to 2009, the science that they were reviewing included both optimistic to pessimistic scenarios. To reach the 2009 endangerment finding, they relied on the most pessimistic views of the science. The great news is that a lot of the pessimistic views of the science in 2009 that was being assumed ended up not panning out. Hey, that's great. Yeah. We can rely on 2025 facts as opposed to 2009 bad assumptions. The other thing, too, is that at EPA, we don't just get to creatively make the law whatever we want it to be. The Supreme Court ruled in Loper Bright overturning the Chevron doctrine in West Virginia versus EPA, Michigan versus EPA, that agencies like the EPA can't just use vague language in statute and try to make it be whatever we want it to be. The major policy doctrine also says that when you're going to reach something like an endangerment finding and then have trillions of dollars of regulation, that's something that should be decided by our elected members of Congress in passing statute.
Correct. That's right. EPA to reverse landmark scientific finding of climate change. Yeah, so those consensus they're talking about, I mean, it's biased. I mean, what did they do is like well they set aside funding, and they get everyone like scientists to find what's find something there. Of course they're gonna come back and find something there. So they call that consensus. If you give something like a private investigator to find something, and it came out, there's nothing there. There's no result. Wouldn't it be a great idea and good for the private investigator's resume if there's something there that they find something? I mean, I'm not that smart, but I'm street smart. So, but anyway, remember that when John Kerry got handed over to back in when was that? Yeah, when Thomas Massey. Yeah, that was this. This is it right here.
What's the consensus on parts per million of CO2 in the atmosphere?
About 406 today.
Okay, 406. Are you aware?
350 being the level that scientists have said is danger.
Okay, are you aware? 350 is dangerous. Wow. Are you aware that since mammals have walked the planet, the average has been over 1,000 parts per million?
Yeah, but we weren't walking the planet. Let me just share with you that we now.
Not just animals, man. I mean, you're talking about like dinosaurs. Those are huge dinosaurs the size of freaking buses and dump trucks. I mean, they release gas like you would not believe. So
now know that definitively at no point during the past 800,000 years has atmospheric CO2 been as high as it is today.
The reason you chose 800,000 years ago is because for 200 million years before that, it was greater than it is today. And I'm going to submit for the record.
Yeah, but there weren't human beings. I mean, there was a different world, folks. We didn't have 7 billion people.
So how did it get to 2,000 parts per million if we humans weren't here?
Because there were all kinds of geologic events happening on Earth which spewed up.
Did geology stop when we got on the planet?
no, it did not. As a matter of fact, like the that in the coast of Hawaii and all those active volcanoes, they're still still moving. I mean, recently we just had that earthquake in Russia, so it's still moving. Those are. I mean, it's California and all. Then once in a while they get a earthquake there. It's still moving. I mean, the glacier is like coming apart, whatever, but it's part of the process. That's part of the thing. The part of the climate shift, or the climate. It's gonna get warmer there someday. Maybe 1,000,000 years from now, I don't know. Who knows? But don't tax me. Don't tell me what to do and what not to drive and what not to eat and what not. And all of that. So that's the whole point of this.
This is just not a serious conversation.
Your testimony is not serious.
No, it's not.
I agree.
And that's John Kerry. That was a long time ago. Same thing with Al Gore. Remember he wrote a book? Yeah, he made millions on those. And trying to pass all of that, and a lot of this climate deniers, and not climate deniers, but the climate activists, they're using his book as a way of like to fact check people, fact check the climate deniers, But anyway, whatever. All right, keep it here, folks, and you can find those clips on YouTube or on X if you want to listen to them. So until next time, rant done.